Friends, in today's video, I will tell you about a haunted farmhouse. So let's start today's story. Akram heard that Osman's uncle has a very luxurious farmhouse. The farmhouse is located just outside the city. No people live in that area. There is always solitude. Osman told Akram, "Go to the farmhouse for a week and enjoy the tour with my sister-in-law. Tomorrow will be the 1-year anniversary of their marriage, so they had to go for a trip somewhere for a week." According to Osman, Akram agreed to stay in the farmhouse for a week. Then Ruba said, "How can I stay a week in a secluded place so far from the city?" Hearing this, Akram said, "Ruba, I want to spend my first wedding anniversary very specially." Ruba started laughing at Akram. Then they set out for the farmhouse. Ruba said, "How long will it take to get to the farmhouse?" Akram said, "It's almost there. It will take a while." Akram's friend Osman's uncle built this farmhouse a few months ago, and now Akram is going to this farmhouse with his wife. Akram said, "Now we have arrived." Akram's car drove into the farmhouse. Ruba looked at the farmhouse from the car and said, "Wow, beautiful." The colorful lighting of the farmhouse was enhancing its beauty. It had a pool some distance away. The colorful lights next to the pool made the pool's water more colorful. There was a big garden in front of the pool. There were different species of plants in the garden, and inside the garden there were a number of benches made of stone. There was a 2-storied building near to the pool. Where was the carved stairs? The stairs went up. There was a bedroom upstairs and 2 more rooms next to it. One room had a single bed and a carpet on the floor. The other room had a sofa and a TV. Ruba climbed the stairs and said, "What a beautiful place." Akram said, "That's why I told you to stay here for 8 or 10 days. Their dinner was ordered on the street. The two of them sat down on the easel and started eating. After eating, they sat on the easel and started talking. They were both very happy to come to this place." Akram then told Ruba, "Let's go upstairs now." Then Ruba smiled softly and said, "All right, let's go. Shall I make a cup of tea for you?" Akram said, "No, I have got a lot of sleep. I need to sleep." Then he laid down on the bed. Ruba also laid down on the bed next to him, but they could not sleep. They looked at the clock. It was about 12 o'clock at night. Akram was in drowsy mood. Meanwhile, Ruba was changing her clothes. She could not sleep in any way. Then she opened the door and went downstairs. Ruba slowly moves into the garden. The full moon of the sky and the twinkling light of the stars was much better than before. She sat on a garden bench, humming and singing. After a while, she seemed someone was humming and singing to her. Ruba stopped singing, and then that sound stopped. When Ruba started singing again, that voice kept coming. She gets a little scared. Then she slowly moved towards the bedroom. As she walked up to the stairs, she felt as if someone was walking up to the stairs with her. She turned and saw that no one was there. Feeling all this wrong in her mind, she lay down on the bed. Ruba wakes up before Akram in the morning. Akram was still sleeping. Ruba then untied her hair and went downstairs. She liked to walk on the grass in the morning. As she walked on the grass, she felt as if someone was touching her hair. Ruba looked here and there, but there was no one there. After walking for a while, her leg got stuck, and so she moved to the top. Ruba looked at Akram and said, "Did you wake up?" Akram then said, "Yes, I just woke up." Ruba then said, "Sit down, I'm bringing tea." She went to the kitchen. While making tea, Ruba felt as if someone had gone too fast in front of the kitchen. She came out and searched, but there was no one there. After making breakfast, she went to the bedroom. They talked while eating breakfast. Then they came down. They were so engrossed in talking that they had no idea about time. Then Akram said, "Ruba, I'm very hungry." As Akram spoke, Ruba noticed that she had to cook something for lunch. Then she went upstairs to the kitchen and started cooking. "Shall I help you?" Ruba was shocked when Akram spoke from behind. Then Ruba said, "You surprised me." Ruba laughed in fear. Then Akram started helping her in cooking. Suddenly, Ruba heard the sound of her cell phone ringing. She picked up the phone and came out of the kitchen and looked at the stairs. where Akram was sitting. She was shocked to see him. Then Akram said, "How long will it take to cook food?" Seeing Akram here, Ruba widened her eyes and looked towards the kitchen where Akram was standing, but there was no one there. Ruba then nervously asked Akram, "Where have you been?" "I was in here," Akram said. Ruba said, "Then who was with me?" Then Akram laughed out and said, "Maybe a ghost." Hearing Akram's words, Ruba became frightened. Akram then boldly tells Ruba, "Hey, I was just kidding. It might be your hallucination." Then Ruba said to him, "No, Akram, someone was there with your face." Ruba was very scared inside. In the evening, they were sitting on the veranda of the house. Then Akram's cell phone started ringing. He went to the bedroom to talk. Ruba was looking at the whole farmhouse from there. Then her eyes fell on the swimming pool. Looking at the pool, she thinks there is someone in the water. So she quickly climbed down the stairs. It was time for Maghrib prayers. There was silence all around. She came closer to the pool. She could see her reflection in the pool's water. Then suddenly her eyes became big. She could see a woman in the water next to her. Then she looked beside her very quickly, but no one was there. Standing on the veranda on the second floor, Akram said, "Come here, Ruba." Ruba was started to hear Akram's voice and looked at him. Then she went to the room in fear. Ruba came to the car at night to pick up some essentials. When she was going upstairs with those things, she started hearing the sound of a small child. She continues to follow the voice. The sound was coming from one side of the garden. She went there. A baby was sitting on the bench and crying. Ruba asked herself, "Where are you from?" Then she sat down next to the child and asked again, "Who are you, child? And why are you crying sitting here?" The child stopped crying when Ruba asked the question. Then Ruba's heart trembled at the thought that there is no one else in the farmhouse except the two of them. So how did this baby come from? "Ruba, are you there?" Hearing Akram's word, Ruba turned her eyes and looked at him. Then she came to Akram and said, "Akram, why is this baby here?" Akram asked in surprise, "What are you saying?" Ruba looked at that place in surprise and there was no one there. Then Ruba said, "Akram, I saw a baby in there." Akram said, "There is nobody here, Ruba. Let's go for a walk." Saying this, Akram caught Ruba's hand and started walking in the garden. Then Ruba said, "Akram, I think there is something in this farmhouse." On hearing this, Akram said, "It is your hallucination. There is nothing else." Then they sat in the garden and started talking, but Ruba was very scared. So she said, "Akram, I'm so scared here. Someone cooked food with me, taking your face on the day, then seeing a woman's face in the water, and now this baby." Then Akram smiled and said, "Read more ghost stories, and because of watching these movies, they always revolve in your mind." Then Ruba said, "No, Akram, believe me, I saw it with my own eyes." Then Akram said, "Well, you saw something, but we did not come here to see if there was anyone in this farmhouse or not. We come here to enjoy ourselves, isn't it?" Ruba became very quiet when she heard this from Akram. Akram therefore asked, "Why are you so quiet now?" Then Ruba said, "I don't understand, Akram. How can I explain this to you?" After sitting there for a while, they came upstairs and started watching TV. The two of them felt drowsy while watching TV and they fell asleep. At one point of that night, Akram opened his eyes and saw Ruba standing outside. So he got up and went to Ruba and asked her, "What happened, Ruba? Why are you standing here?" Ruba replied, "It's nothing, Akram. I could not sleep." "Akram, let's go down." Ruba said this and went to the stairs. Then Akram started to follow her. "Akram, where are you going?" Akram looked up to the stairs and saw that there was no one else. Then Akram was surprised and asked Ruba, "Where have you been?" Then Ruba said, "I went to the washroom. I saw you going to the stairs, and so I asked you where you are going." Akram then said, "Oh, okay. Actually, he hid something from Ruba." Then the two of them went to the room. Akram came to the room and lay down quietly in the bed. After a while, he opened his eyes and saw Ruba lying next to him. Who was she? And how did she come here? Akram fell asleep thinking about all this. Akram woke up in the morning and got rid of these thoughts and had breakfast with Ruba. Then the two of them came down. Akram went down to the pool and started swimming. He then saw Ruba sitting in a chair near to the pool and said, Come on. Then Ruba said, No, it's early morning. It's fine during the day. I felt cold when I saw water this morning. Ruba was sitting on the veranda in the evening eating chips. Then Akram tells her to go to the swimming pool. Ruba agrees. Yeah, let's go. Wait a minute, I have to change. After changing, Ruba came to the swimming pool with Akram. Ruba jumped into the pool holding Akram's hand. Ruba trembled as the pool's water was very cold and said, Oh, Akram, I did not come down to the pool in the morning, so I went down now. Otherwise, I had no desire to go down in this cold water. Yeah, the water is so cold. As soon as Akram said this, Ruba looked at him in surprise. His voice seemed to be as wet as water. As she was getting up from the pool, Akram grabbed her head and drowned her. Ruba was trying to get up from the water. Water was flowing through her nose and mouth. After much effort, Ruba was able to get her head out of Akram's hands. Then she got angry and looked at Akram, but instead of Akram, there was a man with a horrible look. Ruba's eyes widened in fear. She screamed and tried to get out of the pool, but the man grabbed Ruba's leg. Ruba started shouting loudly to Akram. Suddenly the creature gave ground to Ruba's feet. Then Ruba got up and went to Akram in the garden. Then Akram said, Ruba, where have you been? Since when I have been looking for you? Then Ruba said in fear, I have come back from the brink of death. I don't want to stay here for a single moment. Let's get out of here now. Ruba cried and told Akram everything. Then Akram said, But Ruba, how do we get out now? We will get out of here in the morning. I don't know anything. I want to get out of here right now. Ruba said while crying, Please, try to understand. We will set out in the morning. Akram said angrily, and so Ruba went upstairs to the second floor crying. Akram was perplexed and sat on the bench in the garden. He should not have said this in such a way to Ruba. He sat there for a while. Then as he was walking towards the room, he saw a baby sitting on the cradle a little away, and the woman was swinging next to the baby. Then he got scared and quickly went upstairs to the bedroom. He saw Ruba standing in front of the mirror, tying her hair. He held Ruba's hand and said, Forgive me, Ruba. I know there is something here, but how do I get out of here tonight? That's what I meant to you. Won't you say anything? But Ruba did not answer and grabbed his hand. When he looked in the mirror, his head turned. In the mirror, Akram saw a horrible-looking girl. Then he tried to free his hand, but the girl grabbed Akram's hand very tightly. Akram unchained his hand with a great difficulty and started running towards the stairs very fast. He saw Ruba as soon as he set foot on the stairs. Then Akram said, Ruba, we had to get out of here right now. You were right. No matter if it is night or day, we should get out of here right now. Akram then went to the car holding Ruba's hand. Ruba sat in the car without saying a single word. Akram sighed and drove away saying, Thank God, we got out of there. You were right. Sorry at that time. I should listen to you. Ruba said, Yes, and turned her face away. What time is now? Saying this, when Akram took his cell phone in his hand, it fell at Ruba's feet. As soon as he picked up the phone and looked at Ruba, his eyes fell on the looking glass. It's not Ruba. It's that horrible-looking woman. Akram became completely silent in fear. He realized that he was in great danger. But if he wanted to say something at this point, it could be to his detriment. So he continued to drive quietly. The girl was looking like Ruba from the side, but her horrible look was visible in the looking glass. Akram understood. What should he do now? He quietly turned the car towards the farmhouse. There his wife was in danger. Within a moment he reached the farmhouse. Then Ruba asked, What happened? Why did we come back here? Akram then hurriedly opened the car's gate and said, Ruba, I had left something of my essentials inside, so I forced to come back here. He then saw Ruba lying unconscious by the pool. Ruba, get up! Ruba, get up! I'm here! Akram said this, holding Ruba's hand. Suddenly a horrible-looking man came in and said, She is not going anywhere. She is mine. Ruba then cried and said, Save me, Akram! Don't be afraid, Ruba! Saying this, Akram started running, holding Ruba's hand. but the woman was standing there. Then he took Ruba up to the stairs and went to the room. Then they shut the door. Then Ruba said, "We are stuck, Akram." They both became sweaty. Suddenly an idea came to Ruba's mind. She goes to the washroom holding Akram's hand. Going there, both of them performed ablution. Then they come out and recite the verses of Quran aloud. After a while, the whole farmhouse became a commotion. The sound of screaming and crying started coming from all around. Ruba was fighting against these evil jinns by reciting the verses of the Quran very loudly. This sound stopped during Fajr. Then the two of them came down. They sat inside the car. Akram drove very fast and got out of there. Ruba was still very scared. Her condition worsened with fear. Akram thought that surviving under that horrible condition was the biggest success. He sent the keys of the farmhouse to his friend Osman by his servant. Ruba had been suffering from fever for several weeks. Akram's friend Osman came to their house a month later. Osman then told Akram, "You have not met even once since you came from the farmhouse." This time Akram recalls the horrible memory. "Don't take the name of the farmhouse in front of me. I don't even want to remember that moment." Osman is startled and said, "Has something happened to you, Akram?" Then Akram is surprised and asks, "What does it mean? Has anything happened to anyone else before? And you sent us there despite knowing all of this?" Then Osman said, "It's not like that. One family went there. Something terrible happened to them. Then another family went there. Their daughter died there. When your housekeeper came to give me the keys of the farmhouse, my uncle was there. Then he said to me, 'Why did you send them there? You should have told me at least once before sending them there.' Then my uncle told me everything. That farmhouse is not all right. I did not know anything about this farmhouse. If I knew anything, I would never send you there. Jinns live there. Whoever goes there, these jinns disguise themselves and scared them. Because they don't like humans, they became annoyed by their presence. So they tried to scare away anyone who went to stay in the farmhouse. Now my uncle has closed the farmhouse. He said I can't let anyone else be harmed." Akram listened to his friend Osman and started thanking Allah because they were able to return alive from that haunted farmhouse.